chock full of rotting corpses.
Count them all, baby.
Yeah, Sammy, please give us a number. That's not a number.
No, it's not. Hey guys, my name's Dan, and this reaction comes from Dead Meat. This is Abigail 2024 kill count, and this was one that, again, I had no idea even existed until I saw this kill count, and then I logged on to Peacock and gave this a watch, and I was pleasantly surprised by everything that was in it. We'll get more into it as this video goes along, and then I'll give my overall opinion at the very end of this video. But before we do, though, please do check all those links I have for you down in the description below. More specifically, the Dead Meat link if you haven't already. It's a great way to support them, and a great easy way to support me is to go right below this video and click all those buttons down there, because not only will let you see future reactions that I do, but also helps my channel to grow. And without any further ado, let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims and all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James H. Anise, and today we're looking at Abigail, released in 2024. Abigail was made by Radio Silence, you know them by now, and stars Melissa Barrera, who led both their Scream sequels as Sam Carpenter. Similar to From Dusk Till Dawn, it begins as a crime caper before switching to a monster movie halfway through. The twist was heavily advertised, though to be fair, I'm not sure how they would have marketed the movie otherwise. Still, if you want to go in completely blind, this is your one and only warning. Okay, you good? Good. Abigail began.
Yeah, going into this, as I said, I was completely blind. I kind of read the caption underneath it, but that was it.
As a modern update of Dracula's daughter, but eventually became its own story entirely. Its only leftover tie to the 1936 film is who Abigail ends up being. After making their imprint on the Scream franchise, this movie sees Radio Silence return to Ready or Not mode. And it's not just because of the mansion setting or all the buckets of blood splatter. It's because it's got an incredible ensemble cast playing hilarious characters. They're not good people. I mean, they kidnap a little girl, but it's hard not to like them thanks to their chemistry and banter. And as if the cast of Criminals wasn't good enough, Abigail is an amazing child/monster performance by Alicia Ware.
So good!
The story is a little jumbled and feels like it falls in on itself during the third act, but any excuse to watch these performers perform is fine with me. It's too fun.
I'm okay with it.
Of course, as per usual with Radio Silence movies, I won't pretend that I'm unbiased. They're my friends. I like and respect them as people so much that it might affect how I judge their movies. But
that's
also,
fair.
It's not like my opinion is a rare one. Their films are crowd pleasers, going by pretty much every metric available, and Abigail is no different. How many bodies will grace this? Whatever could that be? A sponsor, maybe? Let's go find out.
Could be. I don't know. Is it Manscaped? Or is it something else? What is it?
We've hacked your YouTube channel.
Oh!
If you want your videos to stay up, use the razor in this box to shave your head. Then put the hair in the box and leave it outside? Is this some kind of kink thing?
Hell?
P.S. This isn't a kink thing. Huh.
Oh.
Well, guess I have no choice. Oh,
sure.
Come on, a generic razor? You couldn't have sprung for something premium like the Dome Shaver Pro from today's sponsor, Manscaped?
Hey, I was right!
Premium rotary blades designed specifically for head shaving. Its skin-safe technology means I'm less likely to experience nicks and cuts, and its magnetic blade head makes cleaning as easy as 1, 2, 3. We don't care.
You don't care?
Because after all, its Flex Adjust technology helps each blade stay close to my dome, adapting to its many unique contours. So, I don't know, if you're wanting to do some weird thing with my hair, I just thought the closest possible shave would be to your benefit. Guess I was wrong. And you didn't even include any aftercare, like Manscaped's Dome Soother Aftershave Lotion. It's dermatologist tested and infused with soothing ingredients to calm and nourish your scalp. Jesus, fine, we'll leave you alone if you just shut up. All right. If you ever think of trying to mess with me or this channel again, you'd better head over to manscaped.com and get the Dome Shaver Pro and Dome Soother. And when you do, use promo code KILLCOUNT20 for 20% off your order plus free shipping.
How many bodies will grace this ballet of blood? Let's find out and get to the kills.
Let's do this thing.
The movie begins with dancing shoes as our titular tiny dancer rehearses her routine. Yep, there she is. It's Abigail. She's dancing to Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, and it's a good thing that song kicks so much ass, because you're gonna hear it a lot throughout the film.
Oh yeah.
It's also fitting on a meta level. Swan Lake was used in the opening credits of the original 1931 Dracula. Elsewhere in the city, a bunch of crooks assemble. A gun-toting gal with a lollipop gets picked up by a couple of shady customers.
The temperature okay back there? Is it too cold or too hot? Or...
Temperature's fine.
Hey, shady or not, dude still wants 5 stars. The black-clad bandits use a tracker on Abby's car to beat her back to her fancy-ass house. The criminals don't know each other or who their target is. All they know is it's a kidnapping job.
No one said it was a kid.
Oh, no one said that? It's a fucking kid.
I mean, you're kidnapping someone. Kid is literally part of the word. Abigail gets
True.
home and cozies up in bed, only to get ambushed by the kidnappers. She puts up quite a fight, stabbing one of them with a pencil before they calm her down with a Swan Lake sedative. Then they bag the ballerina and duffel abduct her away. They're almost caught when an alarm system goes off, but they make it to their getaway van and successfully escape. They take their blindfolded bounty to a radio silence rendezvous, a big old mansion, specifically an overgrown neo-tutor way outside the city called Wilhelm Manor. It's a scream. They file inside past the guy who hired them, Lambert, played by Giancarlo Esposito in a very Giancarlo Esposito role. He's the mysterious middleman between the crew and their client, and his job is to keep things mysterious for everyone. They're not allowed to talk about their personal lives, and he collects their phones like they're seeing Dave Chappelle do stand-up. They're also not allowed to reveal their names.
Hey, no names. You know the fucking rules.
Of course, it's hard to talk about a movie if the characters don't have names, so thankfully Lambert gives them code names based on members of the Rat Pack.
Frank, Dean, Sammy, Peter, Joey, and...
Damn, this man got his finger on the pulse of pop culture.
And you're
Sure
Don
does.
fucking Rickles. You happy?
As Nichols intimated,
I love that
Rat Pack's
line.
a pretty dated reference.
How come you called us rats?
So if you didn't know, they were a group of singers who also made
I
Vegas-centered films like
know.
the original Ocean's 11. Lambert leaves the pack as they secure the house and their captive. To minimize risk and exposure, only Candy Girl Joey's allowed to interact with Abigail. Joey's a nurse and is codenamed after Joey Bishop, a comedian and talk show host. The group's leader Frank is named after Frank Sinatra, leader of the Rat Pack after Humphrey Bogart died. The group's muscle is Peter, named after Peter Lawford, who married into the Kennedy family. Getaway driver Dean is named after Dean Martin, the king of cool and singer of That's Amore. Computer hacker Sammy
Sure
is
is.
named after Sammy Davis Jr., Mr. Show Business, while the group's no-nonsense military marksman is named after Don Rickles, insult comic and honorary member of the Rat Pack. Their job is to defend the house for 24 hours while ransom is collected from Abigail's unknown wealthy father. At least this dope mansion makes for a chill hang. It's even got a fully stocked open bar. And they say crime doesn't pay. Despite Lambert's ban on personal information, the boozing quickly gets them swapping backstories.
Crisp $100 bill. You can tell me one true thing about me.
Turns out Joey has a near superhuman ability to read people, so she turns exposition into a parlor trick. She calls out Frank as an ex-detective, having noticed his use of police hand signals. She notes that Peter is a native of Quebec, that Rickles was in the Marines, and that Sammy's a rich girl who's in it for the thrill. As for Dean, he's just vibing.
You've got loose wiring. Probably a sociopath.
As Joey leaves to check on their hostage, Frank calls her out as a former drug addict, hence her penchant for snacking on sweets. These two have been butting heads from the get-go, since during the kidnapping, he was about to punch that kid. Joey don't approve of that violence, and is nice to Abigail, even giving her a break from her kitty shackles. She has a soft spot for kids, probably because she has one herself, and a strange son who we briefly saw on her phone before it was confiscated. She lets her guard down enough to mention him to Abby.
He's just a normal kid.
Just an innocent kid. Abigail says her father won't pay the ransom because he doesn't care about her. She also implies he's not a man to mess around with.
I'm sorry about what's gonna happen to you.
Oh, thanks? Joey gets spooked and asks,
when that line came up, I just got chills up and down. I was like, okay, we're in for a treat.
Frank who the father is, but he doesn't know. So he heads to the girl's room and politely asks her himself.
Who the fuck is your father?
And since he asks so nicely, she lets him know.
Christoph Lazar.
The father reveal freaks Frank out like he were on the Maury show. In fact, it's enough to make him, the consummate professional, try to quit the job right then and there. A bunch of the crew has heard of Christoph Lazar. He's a kind of Kaiser Soze-like crime boss, so ruthless and mysterious, some consider him an urban legend. But he's really for reals, and the group nearly calls it quits. It's only the promised payout of $7 million each that keeps them inside for now. They split up to protect the house from
a lot of
outside
money.
threats. Joey finds an opulent library with a malfunctioning window and a haunted mansion statue. Yo, is that Jamiroquai? She also checks on Rickles, who's been holed up in a sniper's nest. Actor Will Catlett did a lot of firearm training to play his character.
Because military guys, they can tell whether you know how to handle the gun or not. And that's important to me to make them look good.
Rickles sees Joey as the only other
That's pretty awesome to go the extra mile for that.
proper professional, so a trust develops between them. Trust and lust, am I right? Ugh.
And keep the grab ass to a minimum.
Aw, Lambert never lets
Damn
us
it.
have any fun. Dean's been trying to grab some ass of his own.
So, you got a boyfriend or something like that?
Sammy would rather pass the time watching cartoons, especially after Dean tries to jump scare her out of her pants. What were you hoping for there, dude? A prank gone wrong, gone sexual? Because it didn't work.
Wait.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
I didn't mean to scare you.
I don't give a shit!
Dean goes looking for a midnight snack and gets a karmic jump scare in the form of a rat. An off-screen presence crunches on the rodent before getting mean with Dean as a main course. His screams for help are heard by Sammy, who comes to investigate. She discovers his headless body.
Oh!
Death by decapitation. Dean was played by the late Angus
your head
Cloud,
over it.
best known for his starring turn in Euphoria. Cloud sadly died weeks after wrapping his role, right after the SAG-AFTRA strike suspended production. That means they had to come back and finish making the movie after his death. Everyone said they wanted to make sure they did it well and do him justice. Cloud had finished filming all his material, so there was no need for digital recreations or sound-alike ADR. Like all the other cast members, he brings a unique energy to the ensemble. We've
That
seen
sucks.
this character type before, but he has an authenticity that elevates Dean and keeps him hilarious.
Let me get a piece of that candy.
It's your own.
Fuck you too.
I would have loved to see him in more projects. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
The commotion gathers the group in the
R.I.P., dude.
kitchen, where Joey surmises who's behind this gory scene. A guy named Valdez, Christophe Lazar's legendary enforcer. His bloodthirsty reputation is widely known. Rickles recounts a story about some of Lazar's men who were going to testify against him. Even though they were guarded on the top floor of a building, Valdez managed to kill them all.
All their bodies are ripped apart. Limbs and organs missing. Decapitations. That's his signature.
Oh great, YouTube's gonna love that. I'm not a fan
Uh-huh.
of introducing a second
Sure.
unseen character. These characters talking about Lazar and now Valdez makes things a little confusing, especially when the accusations start flying, like when Abigail tells Joey that Frank admitted to being Valdez. The confusion is enough to make Rickles finally want to leave, but the front door is blocked by an iron gate so sturdy, not even
Uh-oh.
Peter can break it down.
It's locked.
Thanks, Peter.
They're meddling so the house in a full lockdown.
I love that little scene because they were messing with it and it's like, okay, it's locked. It's like no, let me try, and he just smacks right into it. And that's why they had that response. Like, yeah, thanks, we already knew that.
Barring all the doors and windows and leaving them trapped like rats in a pack.
Oh, now
Rat Pack.
I get the name now. I get it.
There
the
you
Rat
go.
Pack, right?
Wilhelm Manor
Yep.
is played by the Guinness Manor, aka
Well done.
Glen Maroon in Dublin, Ireland. It was built in 1904 by socialite Arthur Ernest Guinness of the Guinness Beer Dynasty. He actually built 2 houses, so one could just be used for parties. Man, that fucking rules. Radio Silence
Yeah,
found the house
sounds
that
pretty
tailored
awesome.
the story to the location. The same thing they did for their VHS segment, 103198. The place was abandoned when they arrived, so production dressed it with everything you see. The only locations not filmed at the manor were the library and kitchen cellar, which were sets built by production designer Susie Cullen. Joey and Rickles hatch a plan to take the others out and escape on their own. But Rickles only makes it like 5 steps before he's stopped dead in his tracks. When Joey checks on him, she sees him missing a whole lot of face and neck
Whoa!
flesh. Yeah, you kind of need those parts to live, man.
Down goes
Joey
Rickles.
heads downstairs and holds the rest of the team at gunpoint, but Frank manages to turn it into a standoff. He don't take kindly to Abby's accusations, so he sends Peter upstairs to cap their kidnappee.
It's my
Peter?
job, Joey.
Peter's like a lovable big dumb dog, and he develops a cute friendship with Sammy.
You're just missing, so you have to finish the whole bottle, aren't you?
I don't know why you would say that.
Oh, that's bad.
I like you.
I love this
But
character.
he's not a moral man. Earlier, after Abigail accidentally saw Frank unmasked, he was quick to jump to termination.
Now we have to kill her.
Actor Kevin Durand plays the multifaceted character perfectly and says the big oaf drinks so much to drown out his guilt. Durand's horror credits include Legion and Tragedy Girls, but I'll always think of him as that sick son of a bitch Martin Keamy in Lost. Alex didn't deserve that! Joey tries to protect Abby by pummeling Peter, but Abigail finally shows her true colors. Those colors are blood red. It's revealed that Valdez isn't some hitman, it's Abigail herself. Frank shoots her before she can do any damage, but not even a headshot can keep her down. They realize their new reality.
We kidnapped a fucking vampire. A ballerina vampire.
It's a twist that was never a twist thanks to the marketing, which may have impacted your enjoyment of the film. I'm honestly fine going
It
like
didn't.
a full half hour without the characters knowing, but 50 minutes feels like a lot when you're sitting there waiting for the other point shoe to drop. Frank wants to fight
Sure.
back, so they
I can see
gather their
that.
collective knowledge about vampire lore. He sends Peter to make wooden stakes out of pool cues, and Sammy to get garlic from the kitchen.
I got him.
Sammy,
Those are fucking onions.
Incredible
Whoops!
line reading from Dan Stevens, who kicks ass in The Guest and double dipped in horror this year thanks to Cuckoo. Radio Silence wanted a sort of Breakfast Club ensemble of characters.
There's like the hacker and the driver and the muscle and the... I don't know what Frank is, he's just an asshole.
All the actors were given room to improvise, which resulted in a lot of funny outtakes on the Blu-ray.
Place is fire. And it's got a fire.
Cloud came up with the scene where he scares Sammy with a mask, while Stevens had a whole list of names for a scene where he calls Abigail Angelina Ballerina. It's hilarious seeing them do more than a dozen takes, since he keeps cracking up Barrera by
I
using
love
new
that.
names.
So I walk in there to see little Nelly Nutcracker memorizing my fucking face, to see baby Black Swan memorizing my fucking face. I walk in there to see Penelope Pirouette memorizing my fucking face.
She makes every time too. I love
The actors
it.
also had input on their characters' backstories and appearances. Peter was scripted to be from Louisiana, but Kevin Durand changed it to Quebec so he could use his real accent from northern Canada. Barrera helped pick her leather outfit and shaggy hair that I absolutely loved. Catherine Newton took inspiration from Gwen Stefani, suggesting a skirt and tattoos like the fuck mom one on her hands.
Love this character. It's just kind of who I want to be.
Stevens also cultivated his look with inspiration from I Think You Should Leave.
The slick back hair. Yeah. I mean, we wanted him... The reference was we wanted him to be a real piece of shit.
Hey man, people can change. As always, Radio Silence ran a loving set.
Not
where
in a
all
good
the
way.
cast and crew had nothing but positive things to say about each other.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in a cast with such different types who all seem to get along so well.
Joey sits this fight out, thinking they're underestimating their fun-sized foe. The other three follow the sound of Swan Lake upstairs, where Abigail's having a partner dance with Dean's headless body. It's enough to give them pause.
Such a
as it
great
should.
scene.
Shit is absolutely horrifying. The brawl
Uh-huh.
begins. Abigail has an allium immunity, so she turns Sammy's ribcage into a speed bag. Peter's crucifix becomes a weapon for Stabby Abby, who punctures his chest damn near 30 times by my count. Goddamn! Frank takes a staking through the leg, with style, and that finally sends everyone running or limping away. Abigail just lets them go, because she likes to play with her food.
Yeah,
the
she's
group
having some fun.
rejoins Joey to lick their wounds. While their vampire lore proved useless, they do have one thing they know works, a needle full of night-night juice. They split up to search the manor, and a jump-scaring bat causes Sammy to trip and fall into a swimming pool. Unfortunately for both of us, it is chock full of rotting corpses.
Uh-huh. Count them all, baby.
Yeah, Sammy, please give us a number? That's not a number.
No,
It
it's
makes
not.
sense,
Oh, poor Tim. Poor Tim.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Tim counted 41 soggy dead bodies.
Wow.
In this piece,
Good
determined
job,
from the
Tim.
Shots in the film and some behind-the-scenes footage too. But don't even think about asking us the gender breakdown here. Sammy is played by modern horror icon Catherine Newton, who we've seen on this show in Freaky and Lisa Frankenstein. While she had a great time in the much smaller practice pool,
This is so fun!
the same could not be said when they got to the real deal.
I'm gonna take you to the worst place in the world.
Newton had to be submerged in a tank within a tank filled with a whole bunch of dead bodies. It took them a while to film, and by the end of it, she was nearly as traumatized as her character.
I'm having PTSD right now.
Oh
With
no.
the splinter, Peter is tracked down by Abigail. She Megans her way after him, and Kool-Aid Man's through a locked door. Chelsea has
Kool-Aid
assured
Man.
me that running around doing dance moves is highly accurate to young girls who do ballet. The chase is cut short by a poorly timed entrance from Frank. That's gotta hurt. Joey and Sammy arrive to help as Abigail gives Frank a nudge down the stairs. During the ensuing fight, their needle gets knocked behind a locked gate, and Abby bites Sammy in the arm. Abigail
Num
goes
num.
full swan and starts to fly away with Frank until she's stopped by Peter bodying the ballerina. The big boy manages to pin her down long enough for Joey to stick her with the nappy time needle. Okay, little lady, calm down.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole! I forced myself on your blood!
Hey, that is not calming down.
No, it's not.
Actress Alicia Weir had to research vampire lore since her only exposure to them was the Vampire Diaries. Seriously, that was it.
Alicia doesn't know what Twilight is.
To transform her appearance, she wore contact lenses.
Could
and
be seen
dentures
as a good thing.
She worried would interfere with her American
Depending on
accent.
what you're into.
But it didn't. She pulled it off, no problem.
Flawless American accent. And only afterwards did I discover
She
that
was
she's been dubbed.
fantastic.
And that she's never had a dialect coach. She just watches the telly.
Although Abigail's unconscious, Sammy's worried about her bite.
I feel like I got bit by a fucking vampire.
What the fuck is gonna happen to me?
They lock Abby in the elevator and ask about the side effects, but the smarmy marmy hits them with an I don't know, no matter how much they compliment her performance.
You're really good at pretending to be a little girl.
Thank you. I've had a few centuries of experience.
Abigail reveals she's the brains behind this entire evening, and that Lambert actually works for her. She knows all their real names and backstories, and reveals them in another exposition dump. It doesn't work nearly as well as the earlier one from Joey. It just feels like too much info too fast. I will note that Frank's real name is revealed to be Adam Barrett, a nod to filmmakers Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett, who Radio Silence worked with in the original VHS. Abby says each of them crossed her father in some way, so she's lured them here to kill them as revenge. As the Pool of Death shows, it's far from the first time she's played this game. She keeps doing it to try to get her dad's attention, but it hasn't worked yet. Man, even vampires have daddy issues. Abigail offers to spare the first person who frees her, but when Peter tries to take the deal, Joey stops him with a flesh wound. She and Sammy leave to treat it, so Frank is left alone with Abby, who shows how much she's playing with them by promptly breaking free. She's ready to sink her fangs into Frank, but Joey returns and gets to bashing out a window. The sun has finally started rising, and it blows up Abby's hand with a blood splatter. But that little nub has grown back fast, so Joey and Frank get the fuck out of Dodge. The whole group heads to the library, where that open window is letting in a beam of sweet, sweet sunlight. Sammy's even able to stick her hand in it, which means she's still human. You know, for now. Trapped within this light, Joey talks about her estranged kid.
That's why I took this job. With that money, I can start over, you know? A reset.
It sparks an idea in Sammy, who figures the house must have a control room she can use to reset the lockdown. They split up once again to search the house. Frank's wary of Sammy's bite, so Peter volunteers to pair up with her. I love the relationship between these two.
You're my friend.
While they check out the Manor's greenhouse, Abigail puts on a record that Sammy starts hearing in her head. Get out of my head, man! While that bite didn't turn her into a vampire, it has left Sammy open to Abigail's influence. She parsecs into Sammy's body and uses it to kill Peter, tearing out a chunk of his neck and sucking him down like a Capri Sun. Sad to see him go. Abigail uses her radio to lure Joey and Frank to her location. While she's waiting, we get a kick-ass dance sequence set to Blood and Tears by Danzig as Abigail pirouettes in Sammy's body.
So good!
This puppet dance was something production came up with last minute and thought they would only use a little bit of. However, Newton was so experienced, having been a Miami City ballet dancer, they wound up using the entire act in one of the film's standout scenes.
The movie pauses for a moment.
Alicia Weir was no stranger to dancing either. She previously starred in the movie adaptation of Matilda the Musical. But unlike Newton, Weir had never done ballet before and had to endure 8 weeks of training with choreographer Belinda Murphy.
Absolutely love the dedication from everybody in this movie. Makes me love it that much more.
On point, so for the opening scene, I had 2 to 3 months of rehearsals.
She was also excited about the movie's stunts and fight scenes.
When I heard there was loads of stunts, I was so determined to try and do all the ones that I could do myself.
Oh, that sounds fun.
A harness and doing a whole lot of wire work. Frank and Joey find Sammy crying crocodile tears over Peter's body.
Crocodile tears.
She got him. Oh no.
She tries to attack them, chasing them all the way back to the library. Before she can pounce, Joey uses a platter to reflect some sun back at her, splattering Sammy bits all over the place. The blood explosion has become a radio silence staple, probably because it brings the boys so much joy.
The minute the explosion's over, the whole crew just breaks into cheer. It's
I'm okay
so
with
fun,
it.
And there's blood dripping everywhere, and people are messy.
That's
But
cool.
that's the exciting part.
They're huge fans of practical effects and blood, and thinks it helps their actors if they have to physically carry the violence that's been done to them.
Matt and Tyler love blood.
They use big old blood cannons to create their crimson explosions, and reportedly used 30,000 liters of blood in the movie, with 18,000 used in the pool scene alone. They wound up using all the blood available in Ireland, and had to import more from the UK. Jeez, guys.
God damn!
The bookcases opens up, revealing a secret passageway that leads to a control room. There, Frank and Joey find a fangified Lambert. He's been under Abigail's control for the past 2 years, but he's tired of it and wants to be free. After restraining Joey, Lambert offers Frank a deal. If he helps him kill Lazar, they can be co-owners of this whole criminal empire. The only catch, he'll have to become a vampire himself. At this point, Frank decides, why not? Better than being dinner. Lambert knocks out Joey and proceeds to chomp into Frank. He's not going to be a puppet like Sammy either. Lambert gives him the full treatment, which involves feeding him some of his own blood. Frank completes his transformation by vomiting up just all his blood, I think?
Everything, apparently.
For this effect, blood was pumped through tubes going into Stevens' mouth, which then bounced off a backplate that pushed the blood back out. It was enhanced with blood elements filmed on a green screen. Other practical effects included a prosthetic arm for Abigail that looks like a little bloody push pop, and a prosthetic neck piece for Duran with meaty pieces.
That little one looks really good too.
It reminds me of those Jurassic Park dinosaur toys with the dino damage wounds. Lambert's
Oh,
thrilled
yeah.
to have his best bud.
Forgot about
Frank
those.
stabs him in the back, literally, leading to another big wet explosion.
That's what set me up, you undead prick.
Abigail arrives, having predicted Lambert's betrayal. She moves to finish off Frank, but with his newfound vampire strain, he gives Abby a taste of her own medicine. During the fight, Joey lifts the lockdown and grabs her phone, then escapes as Frank finishes his ballerina buffet.
I fucking hate ballet.
Joey finds the secret passageway's been sealed back up, so she calls her son and leaves him an emotional voicemail goodbye.
You're the one good thing I did in life. And I just needed you to hear that.
Frank finds her and unsympathetically tosses her back into the library. He's a
F you, Frank.
bad guy vampire now, but Joey's still prepared to fight him.
Let's have some fun.
This fight is sick. She wants to stick his heart with a wooden stick, but she can't match his strength. He tosses her from the second story. She's saved by a last-minute swan dive that begins an alliance of convenience.
I'm too weak to take him alone.
Abigail and Joey team up against Frank. The three of them have an all-out vampire plus one human fight. Ooh. The ladies have a strong start. I mean, Vaught done told us, girls get it done. And Barrera, as proven in the Scream sequels, is a reliable action movie ass kicker.
I love the adrenaline.
But Frank is still a formidable foe. And Joey gets poked with a poker, which is then pulled out the other side. Ouch!
Oh,
Frank tries
so
to turn
gruesome.
Joey into his puppet with a bite and commands her to help him kill Abigail. But his technique's a little off, so Joey delivers a surprise attack. As Abigail joins in, she tells him that he can't just be turning people right off the bat.
It takes a long fucking time to learn how to do all the cool shit.
The ladies regain the upper hand, and with their powers combined, they stake Frank into a red-hot bloody oblivion.
Bye-bye, Frank.
Those books in there are probably ruined. Abigail agrees to let Joey go since they're gal pals now. But
Wait
her
for it,
exit's
though.
interrupted by the arrival of Abby's daddy, Christoph Lazar, who says he goes by many names, including presumably Dracula. Lazar's all too happy to gobble up Joey, but Drac's daughter intervenes on her behalf. She calls him out for being an absentee father.
She was here when you weren't.
That cutting remark gets through to him, so he lets Joey go after telling her his and Frank's favorite sketch comedy show.
I think you should leave.
Joey gets outside where the cruise van is still waiting. She pops in one last piece of candy before driving off, and the movie ends with a final tribute to Angus Cloud, R.I.P. How many kidnappers took a swan dive into death? Let's find out and get to the numbers.
Oh, they've been doing some
Don't open
dancing.
that window, no!
Ah! Oh, they got to do it too. That's fun.
We counted 47 kills in Abigail, with the victims consisting of 5 men, 1 woman, and 41 floaters in that pool that we are not going to bother sifting through, so...
Fair.
Sorry about this on-point pie chart. We've only counted 47 kills once before on this show, in the original Purge. Such a small number compared to its sequels. With a runtime of 113 minutes, Abigail had a kill on average every 2.4 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Frank. There are a few exploding vampires here, but Frank's was the biggest, bloodiest, and most well-deserved. The almost
yeah.
famous kill will go to
Satisfying.
Rickles, since I'm not even really sure what happened to him. Come on, that guy was cool. And that's it.
He
Abigail
was.
was released in 2024 to positive reviews, but a disappointing box office. Next week, we return to the VHS franchise. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
See it.
Hey, be good people. It's Dead Meat Video. Hey, we're the team at Dead Meat Video.
Oh, they're back again.
Kill count recommendation.
This week, it's VHS 2! VHS 2's wraparound follows a private investigator who loves investigating people's privates. Hey! He and his girlfriend break into the house from the first VHS to watch VHS tapes.
Chess tapes.
Yes. Cool?
Cool.
Ride in the Park is an extreme bike riding zombie adventure. Watch as our GoPro-tagonist tries to survive this
GoPro-tagonist,
the
ah!
creator of the Blair Witch Project. Huh, hope he's well armed. I got a big fucking stick!
Phase 1 clinical trials is a Black Mirror type premise where a dude gets a state-of-the-art eye implant.
And so you guys are gonna sit around and watch me take shits?
No, we're gonna watch you get scared by ghosts.
Whoa!
Slumber Party Alien Abduction follows a group of kids whose behavior is as foul as their language.
She's probably gonna shit out her badge.
Gross. But when aliens attack, our first-person fate is in their hands.
Well, if it isn't Randy Handy the fucking hand job.
Safe Haven follows journalists investigating a Jonestown-like cult in Indonesia. Their mysterious leader's a weird little guy.
Jangan ganggu aku.
And his followers are ready to make this episode super demonetized.
Oh my god! Yeah, I can see why. Ay, ay, ay.
So this week, grab some popcorn and snow caps.
And watch VHS 2.
Then on Friday, check out The Kill Count. Only on
Dead Meat.
That's disgusting. Should my kid be watching this? Yeah, Dead Meat video.
VHS 2 can currently be
Oh,
watched.
I absolutely love that. I don't love that they're bringing that together for, I'm assuming, all the VHS movies. But as far as horror movies are concerned, Abigail was a whole hell of a lot of fun. The music in the beginning and pretty much throughout really did a great job at setting the tone. The makeup and everything, the stunts were also really, really good. And, you know, the girl who played Abigail had really no business being as good as an actress as she was. And the fact that she also even wanted to do her own stunts too makes me really appreciate her work on this just that much more. The only thing I didn't like, and it's a small criticism, I would have loved to see, it's just personal preference, Giancarlo Esposito. I absolutely love his work, and just see him more would have been fun, but I do understand why, so don't get on me on that. So that will do it for me here. Comment down below, let me know what did you think about Abigail. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Also, check all those links I have for you down in the description below. Then lastly, and most importantly, I want to give a huge shout out to all my $5 and up supporters on Patreon: Cruising, Wolverine310, Kester Kronich, Amber K, Raymond Bright, Chris Curtis, Haley Machinardi, Ann Perry, Larka, Voskophony, Misa2, Lily the Snoopy Fan, Lauren, Jenny the Swifty, Allison the Aesthetic Girl, Flea Street Vicomp, Christopher Banyard, Emily the Flower Lover, Songbird177, Sophie the Sunset Girl, Summer the Dog Lover, Scott, Misa3, Arrow Hamster, Inca Linquist, Aubrey the Charlie Brown Lover, ZK Stir, and Mary. And if you two like to have a shout out at each and every one of my videos, please head over to patreon.com/TheDeadReactor for more. And I will see you guys next time.